Hey guys, this is Jamal, and in this particular video, my little commentary for today, I really wanted to address Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey and all the controversy that's going on with some of his comments, I guess, over the weekend about this so-called strain of libertarianism that's infesting the Republican Party, and how dangerous it is, according to him, for libertarianism to be taking hold, what he says, in both parties. But of course we know that he's talking about actually the Republican Party, because that's the nomination that he wants to seek in 2016. Let me start off by saying this, in the words of Rand Paul, over my dead body. Chris Christie will be the Republican nominee in 2016 over my dead body. If Chris Christie is the Republican nominee in 2016, I can assure all my Republican friends and everybody who knows me, you know how to the right I am. You know what a winger I am. You know what a defender of the Constitution I am, supporter of the Bill of Rights I am, and I am telling you right now. And I have voted for Republicans ever since I could been able to vote. But I will tell you this, that if Chris Christie is the Republican nominee in 2016, there is no way in hell, there is no way on earth, no way in heaven, no way in hell that I am supporting Chris Christie for president. I will not vote for Chris Christie for president. And as a matter of fact, I will encourage others not to vote for Chris Christie for president, giving Hillary Clinton the presidency. And I am so serious. I am so serious, because I am so sick of Chris Christie and that type of brand of Republican, this mushy, watered down, northeastern Rockefeller type Republican Party that doesn't want to be anything else but just a moderated type version of today's Democrat Party. That's what Chris Christie is. Okay. Chris Christie made some comments over this weekend regarding the NSA wiretapping program. Basically saying that, but he basically tried to say that if those programs had been in place prior to 9/11, that possibly they could have prevented the 9/11 attacks. Let me remind those watching this video and Governor Christie that there is no evidence of that. As a matter of fact, what would have actually prevented the 9/11 attacks is the government actually doing their jobs. If the State Department would have actually done their jobs, then that would have prevented 9/11. I have right on my computer right now, I'm looking at abcnews.com article by Martha Radix. This was October 26th. Headline: State Department lapses aided 9/11 hijackers. Let me read this. Dear Governor Christie, reports ABC News and the National Review. A new report accuses the State Department of staggering lapses in its visa program that gave September 11 hijackers entry into the United States. The political journal National Review obtained the visa applications of 15 of the 19 hijackers, and evidence that all of them should have been denied entry into the country. Did you hear that, Governor Christie? Let me continue. Almost all the hijackers' visas were issued in Saudi Arabia, at the U.S. embassies in Riyadh and in Jeddah. Terrorist ties aside, the applications themselves should have raised red flags, say some experts. Most of the forms were incomplete, and some of them were even incomprehensible. Yet it didn't stop any of the 15 terrorists it didn't stop any of the 15 terrorists whom obtained applications into the United States. So essentially what this article is saying is that it wasn't the lack of a massive NSA data mining spy program that would have stopped 9/11. It's actually the programs that we had on the books, basic visa issuance guidelines. These guys shouldn't have even been allowed entry into the country. And then we know that there are also reports. The 9/11 Commission found that a lot of these terrorists had overstayed their visas. Even if they got into the country, passing the first line of defense, they got through the first line of defense, because they shouldn't even been in the country in the first place. They breached that. Then the second line of defense, which was when their visas expired, they should have been removed from the country. They should have been pushed out of the country. They weren't. The State Department allowed them to stay in the country. So it wasn't the fact that we didn't have a big NSA, CIA type spying program hacking the phone records of millions of Americans, which was the problem. No, it was the people at the State Department who didn't do their job. It was the people at the National Security Agency that received intelligence saying that Al Qaeda and Osama bin Laden were determined to strike within the United States weeks and months before the attack. And those intelligence assessments were ignored. That's what could have prevented 9/11. It had nothing to do with some stupid, unconstitutional, unlawful NSA spying program, Governor Christie. And yes, I would tell that to you, and I would explain that to the victim, the families of the victims of 9/11. Okay? So you need to get your facts straight. Fact of the matter is, even after 9/11, when the Bush administration did erect this massive spy network, NSA programs, data mining, all this stuff that we're hearing about now, the Bush administration erected all that stuff. Can I ask something? Did it help prevent Fort Hood? Fort Hood was after that. There was a terrorist attack, Fort Hood. Did it help prevent the underwear bomber? No, even after his father warned about his son's intent, we still didn't prevent that. Why? Because it was negligence of our government not following through on the hard leads that they did have. It had nothing to do with massive spying by the NSA. You had the Times Square bomber. The only reason that bomb plot was foiled, it had nothing to do with the NSA. It had something to do with a hot dog vendor who called the police because he saw something suspicious, and because the guy who was trying to set up the bomb wasn't competent enough to actually set the thing off right to make it blow up. That's what stopped the bombing in Times Square that could have killed hundreds of thousands of people. It wasn't the NSA's data mining program. It had absolutely nothing to do with it, and it's absolutely ridiculous. You have besides the Fort Hood, besides the underwear bomber, besides the Times Square, you have Benghazi. What about the Benghazi terrorist attack? How many warnings did the State Department, once again, the people who were fought at 9/11, how many warnings did the State Department get after, and the consulate and embassies in Libya? How many warnings did they get that Al Qaeda was planning to attack? That there had been many attacks on the consulate in Libya. There had been ample warning that something was about to go down, and all those things were ignored. The ambassador himself, the U.S. ambassador to Libya himself, was trying to get more security forces into Libya, to protect them, because they knew what was coming. Did the NSA program help and stop that? What about the Boston bombers? What about the Boston bombers with this massive, once again, and I keep using the word massive because that's what it is, what's going on out there in Utah, this massive data mining collection center that they're building in Utah, collecting all of our phone records and emails and things of that nature. Did that help prevent the Boston bombers? Did it? I mean, wasn't it not law enforcement following up on hard leads, like from the Russian government and the guys going to Chechnya and stuff like that, which we know is a hotbed for Islamic jihadism? Why didn't any of those things stop the bombing? Honestly, it's the incompetence of big government. And this is what makes me so angry about people like Christie, because they defend a system that does not work. It was big government. It is because the government is so massive and has its tentacles in so many things that it should not be in, that it's not concentrating on the things that it's constitutionally supposed to do, like protect the country. They have their hair in the healthcare, and they're in the energy, and they're in all this stuff like that. All the things that that Democrats and big government Republicans like Christie support. They're involved in so many things that they can't even get right. The things that they're supposed to get right, which of course their primary responsibility is to protect the American people. So. In closing, I just want to say, Christie, you really need to do your homework. And the comments that you made this weekend, singling out Rand Paul and referencing people like Ted Cruz and even quite frankly people like me. Because I have, like I said, I have voted in the Republican Party for many years. But I would consider myself to be, a libertarian, a conservative libertarian, a pro-life libertarian. And I tell you what, I have a severe problem as do many of my colleagues and many of the people I speak to, who are in the conservative grassroots, people I speak to every day. We really do have a problem, with violations of the Fourth Amendment, violations of the Bill of Rights, and things like that, and it is a real issue out here in real America. So perhaps Governor Christie should just stay in Trenton. Don't run for president, Governor Christie. What a disaster. Anyway, this is Jamal. I'm signing off for today. This is my little rant. I just had to say that about Chris Christie. That guy, I can't stand it. I can't stand him. I can't take it.